Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings for Thursday, December the 20th. We just have a 2-game slate for Thursday, so we're going to have a really quick video. I'm not going to talk too much about the slate. I don't plan on going too heavy today. Just definitely going to be a slate where I really play light, don't play a ton of volume. I still will be playing those, so I do want to get a video out for you guys. We're going to go through each position, talk about the guys that stand out to me, how we won, to construct our lineup, who should we consider as core plays on this 2-game slate. Before we do get started though, I would appreciate if you would drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, I would appreciate if you would subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down below so that way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. But we'll start off at point guard, work our way through. So at the top here, you do have James Harden, 11,600, getting a matchup on the road against the Heat. And James Harden, really the only stud on this slate. Next most expensive guy in the player pool is LUKA, DONCIC, 8,400. So obviously we're going to have to consider paying up for James Harden. At 11,600 though, I don't know if he's a necessity. Would I be surprised if he's on the winning lineup on this 2-game slate? I would not be surprised, but don't feel like we have to have James Harden today. I think we can probably get similar production from a guy like Chris Paul, who is over $3,000 cheaper than James Harden. I do like this spot a lot for Chris Paul. If I'm not going to be playing Harden in a lot of lineups, then I obviously want to get some exposure to the Rockets. If Harden doesn't put up a monster game, Chris Paul probably plays well and definitely pays off this price and is a better value than James Harden. If Harden gets 60, that might be good enough on a 2-game slate, but I think we definitely could get 50 out of Chris Paul. If Harden puts up 60, Paul puts up 50. Paul's definitely the better play for $3,000 cheaper. So I do like him a lot. Not paying up for Harden obviously allows you to kind of fit in whoever you want, since really is nobody else to pay up for besides him. So I do like Chris Paul a lot at 8,200. And then once you get down from Harden and Paul, really just not a lot of other studs. Next most expensive guy is D Wade at 5,900. And really just a lot of these 5K plays I don't have a lot of interest in. There are some injuries we have to watch on this 2-game slate for Thursday. We got to watch Dennis Smith Jr., whether he plays or not. He's questionable. Lou Williams is questionable. Tyler Johnson, I believe, is actually probable. He's expected to play. But Lou Will and DSJ, 2 injuries we need to watch. If both guys play, don't really have a ton of interest in either guy. If both guys out, then if DSJ's out, we could probably look to Barea again, maybe Jalen Brunson, but I still think I prefer Barea. If Lou Will's out, I think we can go back to Gilgeous Alexander, who should play pretty nice minutes. Maybe even Beverly or Avery Bradley we could consider. But point guard, probably a position you want to try and fit in Harden or Chris Paul. Really don't see myself going anywhere else besides those two guys. So let's move on to shooting guard. Same thing, Harden. Obviously can't go wrong playing Harden on a 2-game slate, but there are some other shooting guard plays we can consider that we don't have to where we don't have to play Harden here. You do have LUKA, DONCIC at 8,400. LUKA, DONCIC does seem a bit overpriced today at 8,400. He did finally put up a ceiling game. He's actually put up 2 ceiling games in a row. 49 and 53 DraftKings points. Did get a 50-point game out of LUKA against the Hawks a couple games ago, but usually we don't see these big games out of LUKA DONCIC, but he's been playing really well lately with Dennis Smith Jr. out. If DSJ is out again, I don't mind paying this price for LUKA, even though it feels like a bit of an overpay. I would definitely rather play Chris Paul for 200 less, but if DSJ's out, if I'm fading Harden, I'll definitely see myself building some lineups where I have Chris Paul and DONCIC together without Harden. So if DSJ's out, I think you can pay up for DONCIC today. If DSJ plays, don't have a ton of interest in him, with him being 8,400. Josh Richardson at 6,800, you could go to here, especially since Dragic is going to be out for a while. I expect J. Rich to play a ton of minutes, handle the ball a lot, going to be needed here defensively. He's a solid defender. They're going to need him to guard CP3, to guard Harden. So you could look to him at 6,800. But maybe talking about some value here, you do have Wes Matthews at 4,800, who I don't mind as a cheap play. J.J. Barea, I think we can go back to if DSJ is out. And if Lou Will's out again, don't mind Patrick Beverly, even Avery Bradley. I know Bradley's not the most sexy guy to roster, but he plays big minutes every night. He's not very productive most nights. He played 30 minutes against Portland and literally didn't even put up 1 fantasy point in 30 minutes. So obviously this is a risky play. You don't know what you're going to get from Avery Bradley. But he is very cheap, 3,900. If we get 30-plus minutes out of him again, which we should, as long as Lou Will remains out, I don't mind Avery Bradley as a cheaper play. Not a core play for me. Not a guy I would go too heavy on, but definitely a guy I have a little bit of exposure to, especially if I decide to play 150 in the mini-max today, which I probably will. I'll have a few lineups where I have some Avery Bradley. But let's move on to small forward now. So it's small forward, some plays I haven't talked about. You got Tobias Harris here at 7,800. Tobias Harris, probably not a guy that I play a massive amount of today. I think I'd rather either get up to LUKA or go down to Josh Richardson. At 7,800, I don't think Tobias Harris is going to be a core play for me today. Gallinari, I don't really like a ton at 6,600. I would much rather play Harrison Barnes for cheaper, especially if Dennis Smith Jr. is out. I think Harrison Barnes is a really good play, even though his price has gotten up to 6K. When you take DSJ off the court, Harrison Barnes does see a pretty nice bump in usage, and he's been playing well lately with DSJ out. Played 34 minutes the last game against Denver and had 41 DraftKings points, 30 points, 4 rebounds, a block and a steal. I know 6K for Harrison Barnes feels like a bit of an overpay, but the guy gives you a solid floor on a nightly basis, and if Smith Jr. is out again, he does carry a ceiling with him. So I don't mind Harrison Barnes today. I actually do like him quite a bit at 6K. I don't think he's going to be insanely popular because people probably aren't going to want to pay this price tag for him, but is a guy that I will be going to today in some lineups. And then sub 5K, really not a lot I love here. Wes Matthews, probably my favorite play if you're going cheap. Maybe PJ Tucker, just because he plays a ton of minutes every night. But that's probably it for this position. Let's move on to power forward now. Power forward guy I really like here is MONTREZL, power forward and center eligible. I like him a ton against Dallas. This is a spot where I expect MONTREZL to have to play minutes. They're going to need someone out there to guard DeAndre Jordan. Last 2 games we've seen Harrell's minutes be pretty consistent. They're starting to trend up, 26 and 27 minutes. The last 2 games, 34 and 30 DraftKings points. Earlier this year against Dallas, he only played 23 minutes, but he did put up 42 DraftKings points. He did have 5 fouls in those 23 minutes, so I imagine he was dealing with some foul trouble, and that was the only reason he didn't play more minutes. If Harrell stays out of foul trouble here, he should get about 27, 28 minutes, and we know he's a good point per minute producer. In 28 minutes, he could easily top 30, 35, close to 40 DraftKings points, maybe even more. With his price tag really dropping lately, I've had a lot of interest in Harrell. I played a decent amount of him on the last slate. I'm going to be going back to the well. Like MONTREZL a lot at 5,800 today. And that's probably it for power forward. I guess you could play Winslow or like a Kelly Olynyk, but with Whiteside back, I don't think Olynyk's really necessary. Even though Adebayo's gotten some minutes still, I don't really have a ton of interest in him, especially at 5K when Whiteside's back. Maybe Winslow, since Dragic is still out, but I would much rather get up to Harrell or even Harrison Barnes in the same sort of price tier. So probably it for power forward for me today. Let's move on to center now. So center is really a position where we only have about 3 guys that are playable. You can play Harrell here, but Whiteside, Jordan, and Capella are the 3 guys I'm really looking to at center. Like I said, don't have a ton of interest in Bam with Whiteside back. Same with Olynyk. And then obviously like Boban, Powell, Gortat. Just guys that don't get enough minutes. So we'll start off with the top 3 guys, Capella, Jordan, and Whiteside. Starting off with Capella, he's 8K, facing the Heat. And I think Capella is obviously a guy you can play today. But I do prefer DeAndre Jordan for cheaper. I don't expect DeAndre Jordan to be very popular today, because most people, if they're paying up at center, they're probably going to go to Capella. But DeAndre Jordan is in a great matchup, facing a Clippers team that just really struggles to defend bigs that can score, that can rebound, and that is what DeAndre Jordan does. That's what he's good at. He did play the Clippers earlier this year and absolutely dominated. This is a revenge game for DeAndre Jordan. Put up 54 DraftKings points in 33 minutes, had 16 and 23, just totally dominated on the glass last time he faced the Clippers. I'd expect similar production out of DJ here. I think we could get a 20-20 game out of him. And if a lot of people are gonna go to Clint Capella in tournaments, I do like rolling with DeAndre Jordan for cheaper. Could probably outscore Capella, especially given the matchup with how bad the Clippers are defending centers. With it being a revenge game as well, just adds to it a little bit, I guess. Love DJ here at 7,400. Probably one of my favorite plays on the slate. Also really like Whiteside a lot as well at 7K. Obviously, he's probably going to carry some ownership because it's a 2-game slate. Not a lot of guys to choose from. If this was a big slate, probably nobody would be playing Whiteside here because his minutes have not been great lately. In his first 2 games back from injury, just 22 and 23 minutes, 20 and 39 DraftKings points. But I feel like this is a spot where Whiteside's kind of going to be forced to play minutes. They're going to need him out there to guard Capella. Spoelstra will obviously still give minutes to Bam Adebayo, but I think we finally see Whiteside get at least mid-20s, close to 30 minutes. He could potentially play 30 minutes or more. Whiteside's always been a good point per minute producer. If he plays anywhere near 30 minutes, he's going to absolutely crush value on this cheap 7K price. This price tag is too cheap for Whiteside, especially when he's healthy. Might be a little risky, but on a 2-game slate, I don't mind taking some risk. I'm not going to be playing very heavy today. Like I said, I'm definitely going to be playing light, so I'll be rolling out some Whiteside. Like him a lot at 7K. But that's really it for center. Capella, Jordan, and Whiteside are really the guys you want to look to here. And Montrezl Harrell, you can play at center as well. But yeah, guys, that's it for this 2-game slate. Really quick video. But hopefully you guys still did enjoy the video. Hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, just make sure you click that like button before you get out of here. I would appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. Or you can always hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, good luck tonight. Appreciate you watching the video. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.